Welcome back to Return to Wrestling. My name is L, and in today's video, I want to rank the Attitude Era Championship belts in the order of which ones I think look the best. Why don't we start with the Women's Championship? Every time I see this belt, I actually think of Mickie James, but when it comes to Attitude Era wrestlers, I definitely think of Trish Stratus. Shoutouts to Jacqueline and Lita. Now, I think the women's title, it doesn't look bad. I don't think it's necessarily great, but I think in terms of the design, what it captures, it does look pretty good. You know what? I feel like that's middle of the road, sort of. I know you got F down there, but that's more of a fail. But the women's title, I think it looked good. A lot of great women have held this championship, and it's definitely one that I think if I ran a promotion and I had this belt as my women's belt, I wouldn't be in a rush to change it at all. Next up is the Light Heavyweight Championship, specifically the one given to Taka Michinoku. So truth be told, I'm not the biggest fan of colored straps. I think the white strap does work for the women's division, but for belts, I typically like black leather. I don't know. I think that's usually the way to go. But this one, it's hard because I will get to the next iteration of this belt, which pretty much looks the same. But yeah, you know what? I'm going to go so far as to say I'm going to put it in D for now. Because I don't really like the red strap, and I think it's enough in some sense to sort of knock it down a few pegs. As for the more updated design of the light heavyweight title, the one that I always associate with Jeff Hardy, this one I really like. You know what? I'm gonna put it at an A for now, just for now. I think it looks good. It definitely looks like the type of belt you would want a champion to wear. Something where, say, you're a promoter and you have someone doing a photo shoot for something that's maybe not wrestling related, and they're obviously representing your company and they have your belt. I feel like this is definitely a good belt. I think this even looks like the type of belt, minus a WWF logo, that you could almost see somebody in another sport wearing. I really like the light heavyweight belt. I know it was eventually replaced by the cruiserweight and stuff, but I think that's a solid design. I think that's a good design right there. Next up, we have the hardcore title. Most people associate this with Crash Holly, as he was the first champion and a very notable one. I always think of Rob Van Dam, because he was the last one who held it. So let's be honest, the hardcore title, here's the thing. To borrow a phrase from Magic the Gathering and stuff like that, it's very on flavor. It definitely looks like, it would be a hardcore title. But you know what? It also doesn't look good. Here's the thing. For what it is, for how it looks like it's a gimmick title, everything, I can see people sort of liking it and putting it all over the place. But I also think, as somebody who grew up watching the Attitude Era and was a big fan of the Attitude Era, I'm also not one of those fans who are going to sit here and say everything about the Attitude Era was better than everything that came before and after and all that. There were a lot of stuff during the Attitude Era that was there was dumb stuff. Let's be honest, there was dumb stuff. And in some ways, I think the hardcore title is sort of a relic of that. You know what? I'm going to probably put it at a D, I think. I'm going to switch these two around. Yeah, that I like a little bit more. I know, again, the light heavyweight title, I know the design is very much similar to the one with an A, so you think, oh, because you don't like the red, why don't you put it at a B or a C? But I think it honestly ruins it. I think the hardcore title, slightly just a bit ahead of that. I know it looks gimmicky, but I don't know. The Attitude Era was a different time. Next up, we got the European title. I always think of D'Lo Brown when I see it. So this title, if anybody's ever played WrestleMania 2000 on the N64, because it's low poly and stuff, it's not the greatest high-end model, I actually use this belt as a stand-in for the ECW World Heavyweight title, And you know what? I really like the belt design. I think it's should I? It's not S tier. Okay. Oh, is it? No. Now S tier is like S tier is just you know an S tier belt when you see it. So I did say I was a big fan of the light heavyweight belt, but I think the European one, I think it has a beat. It's on flavor. It looks great. A lot of underrated and great wrestlers have held it. I know there hasn't been that many, but no, I really like the European belt. That is, if I was a promoter and I had access to that belt, I would definitely be using it. Next up, we have the Intercontinental title. Always makes me think of Eddie Guerrero. And to go off the hardcore title, reminds me of Rob Van Dam since he beat Jeff Hardy for it in a title unification match. I have to say, especially compared to today's Intercontinental belt, I really like the Attitude Era Intercontinental belt. I believe it's called the Oval one, or the Oval IC belt, whatever it is. Yeah, like, this is a type of belt where you would be proud as a promoter to have, like, one of your main stars wear it. I think it's a great looking belt. You know what we're actually going to do? And this may sound crazy. I'm actually going to move the light heavyweight title down. You know what? Yeah, I like it there because I know when it comes to ranking belts, sometimes people take the history into account, who's held it and all this. I'm strictly just looking at it from a perspective of like, if I was a promoter, would I have a champion wear this belt? And just how much I like the design, like the European one. So far, out of all of them that we're looking at, I definitely like the European one the most. The Intercontinental, that's such a great... It's like, oh... For the Intercontinental title, and especially this design from the Attitude Era, I think it's just... It's such a great mid-card title, and I don't mean that in like a bad sense for mid-carders or whatever. And there are people who, you know, did elevate it beyond that, but... No, just the look of it, and when you see somebody wearing it, you get the sensation of like, okay, you know what? I'm seeing this guy's the Intercontinental Champion now. Couple years, maybe this guy could be like, you know, a main eventer, a top star, a world champion. Great belt, great design, love it. Next up, we got the tag team titles. I always think of Edge and Christian, the Hardys, and the Dudleys whenever I see these belts. So earlier, I mentioned how I used the European title in WrestleMania 2000 as a stand-in for the ECW title. The tag team titles I actually use as a stand-in for the X Division title from TNA. The tag team titles, I think these are good, great-looking titles. I'm trying to think... Could I see a world champion, a future world champion wearing this? Sure. You know what? I think that's how I might do it. I think I might put the world tag team titles ahead of the women's, ahead of the world heavyweight, whatever it is. The lightweight, cruiserweight, whatever. And, you know, I might shuffle these around later, this and that, but I think for now, you know, just looking at this... As we go, again, European title, such a great looking title. I never really learned what the word Intercontinental meant, but you think it'd be pretty similar to the European or the world title, but now I'm liking this so far. Next up, the WWF World Heavyweight Champion. The belt that when I see it, I always think of Stone Cold Steve Austin. This belt, like this, is a championship level belt. Now, of course, all of these are championship belts, but I mean, like, this, I would put it up here. I really would, because I think it looks great. It's definitely the type of belt that you could see a champion outside of wrestling wearing. You know what I mean? Like, it just looks great. It's big, it's round, it has gold, it has some color to it. You know, there's a world, it looks great. Oh man, they don't make belts like that anymore, I'll tell you that much. But no, the Big Eagle, this is a belt. This I would definitely put up there. I think it's great. Like, I don't really have anything bad to say about it. I just like how it's big, it's oval, this and that. This is the belt I would associate with the Attitude Era. Now, that being said, there's also the Winged Eagle belt that I always associate with Bret Hart. So I believe it was March in 1998 where they switched the Winged Eagle belt over to the Big Eagle belt. This belt, I know people love the Winged Eagle, and I think it is a good-looking belt. But I'm also a madman. Okay, I'm absolutely, I'm just, you know what I mean? I'm a wild man. But yeah, I know it looks great. I know people love it. You know, again, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold. A lot of greats have held this belt, but I don't know. It's just the wings, and it's like it has a little spike at the top. I know I'm crazy. I know, but like I look at it, and I feel like it's like a cacophony. You know what I mean? Not of sound, but of just visualization. Like I'm just looking at it, and it's like I don't know, man. This is just too much. I don't like it. I don't. I really don't. I think it does look good for a belt, but you know what? I'm going to ruin the day out of like Attitude Era fans and people of the Winged Eagle. I don't know. It's to me, it's got the crown. It's spiky at the top. It just I don't know the Big Eagle. That's gold. Like that's great. The Big Gold. That's above S tier right there. But no, the Winged Eagle, not a big fan of the belt. I just gotta say, not a big fan. So that should be all the belts during the Attitude Era. And I'm looking at this list and I'm thinking, is there anything I want to move around? Is there anything I want to change? So let's just go through this real quick, double check where we are and what we're doing. So we got the light heavyweight title, I always think of or call it the Taka Michinoku version. Again, the red strap. That just kills it for me. It makes the rest of the title, like the gold, look like rusty. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I need to see an optometrist or a head doctor, but the red strap, I don't get rid of it. The hardcore title, only because it's on flavor, it's on theme, it's thematic, it matches what it's supposed to be, but it's still ugly. You know what I mean? It's still like, again, just a leftover from like a bygone age. It's just, as much as we look back and we're like, the Attitude Era was great, the hardcore title is just a reminder of, it wasn't all great, okay? There was bad ideas. Like, let's be honest. Hardcore title, I think that's good. The Winged Eagle, I would put it in C for championship, because it is technically a championship title. It's just, I don't know, there's just too much. It's like, you need to relax. It's just, why? It's just, I don't know. I didn't make it. If I ran a promotion, I would switch it over like they did. I know it's associated with a lot of great wrestlers, great moments, this and that, and it is part of the heritage, whatever, the history of WWE, but yeah, get rid of it. You don't need it. Next up, the Light World Heavyweight Champion, the Light Heavyweight Championship, a belt, which its name is a struggle for me to say. I think that's a good spot for it. I think, yeah, like, you could look at it, you could sort of buy the person as a champion. Like, if someone has a hardcore title, it's like, you don't really buy them as a champion. It's just like, what is this? Like, some sort of backyard wrestling? As Jim Cornette might say, an outlaw indie mud show. But no, the light heavyweight title, that's... To me, the light heavyweight title looks like it could be an indie promotion's main title. I think it is a good design. If you were to start a promotion, if you could make a belt that looks that good as your main title, hey, you know what? You're on course, you're doing great. Women's title, I guess you could argue it's thematic because it says women's in the middle of it, which at the time they were called divas, so their title respected them more than their own management, but yeah, the women's title, I think, you know what? It looks great, it looks good. I associate it with, like, a lot of the divas and the women back in the day. I love it. I wish they would bring this back. Out of the titles in a D and C tier, I don't care. The light heavyweight title, You know, if they were to bring it back as a cruiserweight title, that'd be pretty cool. But that woman's title, I would love to see that woman's title again. Yeah, I think it looks great. Then we got the tag team titles. As I mentioned, my stand-in for the X Division titles. I love these belts. Like, I want them to bring these tag team belts back. I hate the logo belts. Like, these, I think they look great. I love the design you could buy. Like, when you see tag teams wearing these, it's like, okay, these feel like serious guys. Like, they got, these good-looking belts on them. Great belts. Almost tempted to put the tag team up to A, but it doesn't have that, like, that spark, that little bit to just push it up there. But IC title, I think that's great. Like I said, I think in terms of all the mid-card belts, aside from the European title, it's one of the best looking, best designed. You look at it, Intercontinental, you see it, great, you get it. Perfect. I think... Now, I'm no wrestling historian. I haven't seen every Intercontinental title, international title, whatever. But out of all the ones I've seen, especially the other WWE ones, I think this one's great. It's the peak of Intercontinental ship. Next up, the European title. I want them to bring this back. Like, oh... Shawn Michaels, I know you're a big fan. You've been a big fan of mine since the longest time, so I know you're watching this. Bring this back in NXT. Like, just get an NXT sticker and just put it over the WWF logo. No one's gonna care, but like, bring this title back. Oh, it's, the Italian in me is just looking. That didn't sound Italian, but it felt Italian. The European title, I love it. It's great. Grand, wonderful. Then we got the Big Eagle at the top, where it belongs. But there's only, you know what? As much as I love the WWF Championship, the Big Eagle, this one here looks great. There is one Attitude Era Championship belt that I think blows all of these out of the water. And that would be the Stone Cold Steve Austin Smoking Skull belt. You don't understand. This is by far like one of my favorite wrestling belts. During the Attitude Era, Stone Cold Steve Austin was my favorite wrestler. And as a kid, I really loved, like, skull-designed things, like the Punisher logo, stuff like that. I even had, like, a little skull ring, which, when I started playing guitar and I would use a slide, I would actually put the ring on and it would look like it was part of the slide. It was really cool, but the Smoking Skull belt, again, Stone Cold Steve Austin being one of my favorite wrestlers as a kid. I love, like, skull design stuff, whatever. And then it's just, like, a blend of the two. I love this belt. Oh, like, there may be, like, one wrestling title I think is better looking than this. And I will say, flat out, I do think as a championship title, the Big Eagle obviously looks better than the Smoking Skull. But god damn, like that, oh... So they call me a bit of a belt collector. I have like a few of like, these are the cheap ones you get as a kid. Like the ECW title. These are the cheap plastic ones. The Intercontinental, the Undisputed. Great looking belt, by the way. Bring this back, Triple H. Bring it back, man. But they all pale in comparison to this like $300 replica Smoking Skull belt that I got. I love this belt. Yeah, like the other belts cost me like $10, $15 because they were cheap. I overspent money on this. I did not purchase this sober, and I do not regret it. Out of the Attitude Era, for WWF at least, this is my favorite belt. I love this belt. Like, look at it. I would kiss it. But they will not let me put that on YouTube. I love this belt. Honestly, one of my favorites. When I look at this, to me, this belt, the Smoking Skull belt, Stone Cold Steve Austin, that's the Attitude Era right there. Like, when you look at this, you think Attitude Era, Stone Cold Steve Austin, the peak of wrestling, some will say, the whole Attitude Era. To me, that's what this represents. Just my childhood of watching wrestling, being a Stone Cold fan. I love it. S rank, I would put it higher, but the people who made this tier list didn't put a space above. I would put it at SS for Smoking Skull. I love this belt. But I would love even more if you let me know in the comments which one of these belts you really like, which ones you don't like, which ones you would rank higher or lower. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.